True crime. It always seems to grab our attention. Those twists and turns and the mystery. It's all so captivating.
Absolutely.
But sometimes real life throws us curveballs that are even wilder than fiction.
Definitely.
And that's what happened in the case of Denise Huskins and Aaron Quinn.
Yeah.
It's one of those stories that makes you wonder, could this really happen?
It's a case where the truth was so unbelievable that people initially dismissed it as a hoax.
Right.
Much like the plot of the popular novel and movie Gone Girl.
That Gone Girl comparison, it comes up a lot in this case.
It does.
So let's rewind to the beginning, March 23rd, 2015, in Vallejo, California. Huskins and Quinn are at home when their world is turned upside down.
Right.
Can you set the scene for us?
In the early morning hours, an intruder broke into their home. He was armed with what appeared to be a gun, but later revealed to be fake, blindfolded. The couple tied them up and even forced them to drink a sedative.
Oh, wow. That's already terrifying.
Yeah.
But it gets even stranger.
Yes. The intruder played a pre-recorded message claiming to be part of a professional group collecting debts. Then Huskins was abducted and taken away by car while Quinn was left behind.
So Quinn is left alone, drugged, and his partner has just been kidnapped. What did he do next? I can't imagine the fear and confusion.
He was in an incredibly difficult position. According to the lawsuit they later filed, Quinn wrestled with the decision to contact the police, afraid for Huskins' safety if he did. After agonizing for hours, he finally reported the incident to the Vallejo Police Department that afternoon.
You think the police would launch a full-scale investigation?
Right.
Every second counts in a kidnapping. But that's not what happened.
No, it wasn't. Instead of immediately searching for Huskins, the Vallejo police turned their attention to Quinn.
Really?
They suspected him of murdering Huskins and staging the kidnapping.
Wow.
They subjected him to an intense interrogation that lasted for 18 hours and even administered a lie detector test.
So they thought Quinn, the victim who reported the crime, was actually the perpetrator.
Yes.
They went down that Gone Girl rabbit hole.
Yeah. They latched onto that theory very strongly. The police publicly stated that they believed Quinn had killed Huskins and fabricated the entire kidnapping. They dismissed any evidence that pointed to a real abduction, overlooking crucial details, and failing to follow standard investigative procedures.
What was the public's reaction to the police's accusation?
There was a media frenzy, with many outlets quickly adopting the police's narrative. Quinn was vilified in the press and on social media. People were quick to judge, drawing parallels to the Gone Girl story. It seemed like public opinion had already convicted him.
That's incredibly damaging. To be accused of murdering your partner and then be publicly shamed before any real investigation has been done, it's a nightmare scenario.
It was a devastating blow to Quinn, who was already dealing with the trauma of the kidnapping and the fear for Huskins' safety. And then 2 days after the abduction, Huskins reappeared. She was found safe near her parents' house in Huntington Beach.
You would think this would be a moment of relief, a vindication for Quinn. Finally, the truth was out.
It should have been. But instead of acknowledging their mistake and apologizing, the Vallejo police doubled down on their accusations.
They didn't.
Yeah.
What possible explanation could they have had at that point?
During a press conference, the Vallejo Police Lieutenant Kenny Park made some shocking statements.
Okay.
He accused Huskins and Quinn of plundering valuable resources and instilling fear in the community. He even went as far as to say they owed the community an apology for this wild goose chase.
They called it a wild goose chase after Huskins had been found safe.
Yes.
That's unbelievable and incredibly insensitive, considering what she had been through.
It was a complete disregard for the trauma she had experienced. Instead of being treated as a victim, she was labeled a liar and manipulator. They even threatened to press charges against the couple for wasting police resources.
It's like they were trying to punish them for being victims to save face after their own mishandling of the case.
Right.
But then the story takes another unexpected turn.
Yes, it does. Remember the Gone Girl theory that the police were so convinced of? Well, the alleged kidnapper decided to insert himself into the narrative in a very dramatic way.
This is where it gets even more intriguing.
What did he do?
He started emailing the San Francisco Chronicle, claiming responsibility for the kidnapping and demanding that the police apologize to Huskins and Quinn.
He emailed the press. That's bold. Was he trying to taunt the police or take control of the narrative?
It seems like a bit of both. He wasn't just boasting. He also provided proof-of-life messages that Huskins had sent before her release. These emails contained specific details about the kidnapping that only the kidnapper, Huskins and Quinn, could have known.
So he was trying to prove the police wrong and expose their incompetence.
Exactly. He wanted to show that he was the one in control, the mastermind behind this whole ordeal. And in a way, he succeeded in shifting the narrative. The police were now facing intense scrutiny for their handling of the case. The kidnappers' actions, they definitely put the Vallejo Police Department in a difficult position. They were now facing public criticism and pressure to find the real perpetrator. It's almost like he was playing a game with them, turning their own Gone Girl narrative against them.
Yes, he was manipulating the situation to his advantage, using the media to expose the flaws in their investigation.
So what happened next? Did they ever catch this mysterious kidnapper?
A few months later, there was a break in the case. A man named Matthew Muller was arrested in connection with another crime in South Lake Tahoe.
Wait, another crime? What kind of crime are we talking about?
It was a home invasion robbery that had striking similarities to the Huskins kidnapping. During a search of Muller's home, police found evidence linking him to the Huskins case. The FBI got involved and uncovered even more incriminating evidence, including 2 horrifying videos of Muller sexually assaulting a blindfolded Huskins.
That's chilling. So this seemingly random arrest for robbery ended up solving the Huskins kidnapping. What was Muller's background? Was he some kind of career criminal?
That's what makes this case even more bizarre. Muller was a Harvard-trained attorney and a former U.S. Marine.
Harvard lawyer turned kidnapper. It's hard to wrap your head around that. What could have driven someone with his background to commit such a horrific crime?
It's a question that many have asked. Some experts believe that Muller may have been suffering from mental health issues, while others speculate that he was driven by a need for power and control.
It's a reminder that appearances can be deceiving, and even those who seem to have it all can harbor dark secrets. So Muller acted alone. There wasn't some elaborate criminal organization involved.
The investigation confirmed that Muller acted alone in the kidnapping and assault. No one else was involved. His capture finally brought some sense of relief and closure to Huskins and Quinn.
But the ordeal wasn't over for them, was it? They had been through so much, the kidnapping, the false accusations, the public shaming. How did they cope with the aftermath of this traumatic experience?
It was a long and difficult road to recovery. Both Huskins and Quinn underwent extensive therapy to deal with the psychological trauma they had endured. They spoke publicly about the devastating impact the ordeal had on their lives.
It's hard to even imagine what they went through. To be betrayed by the very people who were supposed to protect you, to have your story doubted and dismissed, it's a profound violation of trust.
Absolutely. And it had a ripple effect on their personal and professional lives. They faced judgment and scrutiny wherever they went. It took a lot of strength and resilience to rebuild their lives.
Did they ever receive any justice for how the Vallejo police handled the case?
Yes, they did. In 2016, Huskins and Quinn filed a $2.5 million federal lawsuit against the city of Vallejo and its police department. They accused the police of a vicious and shocking attack on their character and of creating a destructive nationwide media frenzy by falsely accusing them of faking the kidnapping.
It sounds like they were determined to hold the police accountable for their actions. Did they win the lawsuit?
Yes, the city of Vallejo eventually settled the lawsuit for $2.5 million. However, what's even more disturbing is that they initially refused to issue a public apology.
So they were willing to pay millions of dollars but not offer a public apology. Why would they resist taking that step?
It could have been an attempt to avoid admitting wrongdoing or protecting the reputation of the police department. They did offer a private, half-hearted apology via a letter after Muller was arrested. But it wasn't until 2021, after pressure from major news outlets, that the Vallejo police finally issued a public apology.
That's a long time to wait for acknowledgement of the pain and suffering they caused. Did the apology provide any sense of closure for Huskins and Quinn?
It was a step in the right direction. Huskins said that while they will never get all the answers and have had to learn to accept that the apology helped them move forward, it validated their experience and acknowledged the injustice they had endured.
It's amazing how they were able to find the strength to persevere through all of this. Did they retreat from public life after the ordeal, or did they choose to share their story?
Instead of retreating, they decided to use their experience to advocate for other victims of crime and raise awareness about the importance of believing victims.
So how have they done that? Have they written a book or given talks about their experience?
Yes, in fact, they have. They co-authored a book about their ordeal titled Victim F, From Crime Victim to Suspect to Survivor.
That's a powerful title. I imagine it was incredibly cathartic for them to put their story into words and share it with the world on their own terms.
Absolutely. It was a way for them to reclaim their narrative and control how their story was told. They also wanted to help others who might find themselves in similar situations, to give them hope and show them that it is possible to heal and move forward.
It's inspiring to see how they turned such a horrific experience into a platform for positive change.
Their story is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the power of finding meaning in the face of adversity.
And it's a powerful reminder that we should never be too quick to judge or dismiss someone's truth, especially when they're already going through a traumatic experience.
It's a lesson we can all learn from, to approach situations with empathy and to remember that there's often more to the story than what we see on the surface.
So where are Huskins and Quinn now? What have they been up to since the ordeal?
After years of therapy and working to rebuild their lives, Huskins and Quinn got married in 2018. They now have 2 daughters and have both resumed their work as physical therapists.
It sounds like they've managed to create a beautiful life for themselves, despite the unimaginable hardship they faced. It's truly a testament to their strength and resilience. And their story has been widely shared, and it even caught the attention of Netflix, right?
Yes, their ordeal was the subject of a Netflix docuseries called American Nightmare. It provides a detailed look at the case, the police investigation, and the impact it had on Huskins and Quinn.
So for our listeners who are intrigued by this case and want to learn more, they can check out Victim F, From Crime Victim to Suspect to Survivor, and the Netflix docuseries American Nightmare. This case raises so many questions about our justice system, media influence, and how we perceive victims.
Right. It really highlights the importance of critical thinking, media literacy, and having empathy for those who have gone through traumatic experiences.
It's easy to get caught up in the sensationalism of a story, especially when there are elements that seem ripped from a Hollywood thriller. But we have to remember that there are real people at the center of these narratives.
Yeah.
Real people whose lives are irrevocably changed by these events.
The Huskins and Quinn case serves as a stark reminder that the truth can often be stranger than fiction, and that sometimes the most unbelievable stories are the ones that are true.
It's a case that has stayed with me long after I first learned about it. It makes you question assumptions, the power of narratives, and the importance of seeking justice, even when it seems impossible. What's fascinating to me is how the Gone Girl comparison, which initially fueled the police's suspicions and public opinion against Quinn, ultimately backfired when the real kidnapper used it to expose their mistakes.
It's a testament to how powerful narratives can be, for better or worse. In this case, it was used to manipulate and mislead, but it also ultimately helped reveal the truth.
It's a reminder that we need to be critical consumers of information, especially in this age of instant news and social media. We should always question the narratives presented to us and seek out multiple perspectives before forming an opinion.
And we should remember that behind every headline, there are real people with real emotions and experiences. People like Denise Huskins and Aaron Quinn who deserve our empathy and understanding.
Their story is a powerful reminder that even in the face of unimaginable trauma, hope and resilience can prevail, and that the pursuit of justice, even when it's a long and arduous journey, is always worth it.
The truth may be elusive at times, but it has a way of eventually surfacing.
Well said.
Yeah.
And on that note, we'll conclude this deep dive into the harrowing case of Denise Huskins and Aaron Quinn. It's been a roller coaster of emotions, exploring the dark side of human nature, but also the incredible strength and resilience of the human spirit.
It's a story that compels us to examine our own biases, challenge the narratives we encounter, and fight for a world where justice prevails and victims' voices are heard and believed.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Till next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep seeking the truth.